Hey everyone, it's Miranda at Peace, Love, and Happiness Club, and today I'm going to go through the whole entire process of repotting this variegated Monstera Adansonii onto one of our PLVNTLY Moss poles with you. It's currently on this teeny tiny little bamboo stick right here, which clearly it has far outgrown. I like to think of this side of the plant as the front side, and then the side that the leaves are not facing as the back side. So all of these little nubs right here are going to be where aerial roots grow out of. I like to think of it as kind of a point where there's potential for growth, right? And so in order to propagate the plant, you would chop right between this node and this node, for instance. This is called the internode space. And then you'd stick this part in water and it would be able to grow roots from right there. This guy is really beautiful. I don't want to chop him up, and we're just going to be trying to get these aerial roots still to grow, but to grow into a moss pole so that the plant can kind of keep climbing up. It's going to allow the plant to get bigger leaves, to have a little bit more support, and to keep on growing up and climbing and looking really gorgeous. Monstera are one type of aroid, and an aroid is basically any plant that grows these aerial roots here. So it's going to include things like philodendron, monstera, rhaphidophora, anthurium, alocasia are going to be aroids, epipremnum or pothos, scindapsus, hoyas as well. These plants are going to grow both roots into the soil, so more terrestrial roots, and then also these aerial roots. In the wild, aroids usually grow climbing up trees. So if you were to imagine this plant in a forest, this part would kind of be touching against a tree trunk, and the plant would be climbing up another plant. But they're not true epiphytes because they do tend to have roots in the soil as well. So epiphytes are plants that grow not in soil, kind of exclusively on something off something else. Whereas with these ones, they're gonna kind of use other trees or plants for support, but they're still going to have their own roots in the soil, if that makes sense. So I've got my pot, my plant here, got some substrate, and this is the newer mix that we've been using as opposed to our more soil-based aroid mix. And I also have a video that's either already out or is going to be coming out talking a little bit more about this mixture and how it contrasts and compares to our traditional aroid mix that we've been selling. Two of the regular PLVNTLY poles here, little anchor base, and also the regular size anchor kit, which is compatible with this size PLVNTLY pole. And then I also have a bag of our sphagnum moss and perlite mix here with a little sprayer to kind of help saturate and hydrate the moss so that it's a little bit damp, which is going to really help to encourage those aerial roots to grow into the moss pole so that the plant can kind of anchor on there. I really like that the anchor kits from PLVNTLY offer a bunch of different lengths in terms of the pieces so that you can really kind of customize it exactly to whatever dimensions your pot has. Anyways, I'm just gonna kind of spray in here, give that moss some water. I'm gonna load up most of this bottom piece and then attach that top piece on and finish filling it with moss. But let me just kind of give you a little bit of a close-up too. So as you can tell, the moss is packed pretty tightly in there, but I didn't completely compress it, so you can see there's still some smaller pockets of air in there. That's gonna give those aerial roots some space to really root into the moss pole, and then also some air too, so that they're not getting overly wet or kind of getting root rot, I guess. And let me screw this top piece on, and then we will get to work on filling this one too. So I haven't compressed the moss yet, but you can tell kind of in this part here, this is way too much airspace. You're gonna wanna shoot more for this, just so you can see a little bit of a visual comparison. So I'm just gonna set the moss pole in there. I think that that is gonna look really perfect. I'm just gonna kind of put it off to the side so I can start filling it with soil. So now that we've got this set up and we are finally ready for our plant. Okay. Perfect. Now I'm just gonna kind of remove as much soil as possible here. So I feel like that's pretty good. And with roots here, I'm just gonna show you a little close up. You really want them to be either an almost white or kind of really, really light brown color. That's gonna be a sign that your roots are really nice and happy and healthy. All right. You want the soil to be pretty firm in there, but you don't want it to be too dense. So I usually pat it down pretty firmly, but I don't compress it all the way because you don't want to choke those roots out and prevent them from getting air. Perfect. All right, I feel really good about that. I think that looks great. And I'll just kind of give you a little bit more of a visual too. And I also really love these clear pots because you can see that anchor base down there all the way at the bottom with all that soil on top of it. And it feels really nice and firmly set in there, which is gonna help give the plant more support too. And let me just give the moss a little top off here. Make sure it's really nice and moist on all sides. I've got some snips and I've got some of the Velcro tape here. I really love this tape. We don't sell it currently. I'm hoping that we will start to in the future because it's so, so great. You're gonna want to attach the plant at the internode, so the spot between two nodes here. It's a little bit tricky and it definitely takes some practice, so don't feel bad if you have to reposition it a few times. I usually do as well, just if I don't love the placement or something like that, but I'm just gonna kind of put that right there. I'm gonna try and get those aerial roots as close to the pole as possible. And then I'm just gonna wrap the plant tape around. And I, again, want it to be pretty firm so that it's kind of holding the plant there, but I don't want it to be too tight because I don't want to accidentally cut the stem or anything like that. Just gonna kind of do that. I'll give you a close-up too so you can see what that looks like right there. But again, it's gonna be in between those two nodes and it's gonna kind of help hold those aerial roots against that moss. Cut a few more pieces. So I'm just gonna give you a little close-up of kind of how that looks there. And again, it's totally okay if the aerial roots are not completely flush with it, because again, I didn't want to stress the stem too much here, but you want them to be as close as possible and that'll help it start rooting. If you have any questions about the repotting process, definitely make sure to leave a comment about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out our Instagram, check out our website. If you're in Seattle, come visit us in person, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.